everyone. Welcome on our channel Ultimate UPSC CMS. So again we come with a new video. In this video we're going to discuss about Indian Railway Health Services as a cadre. So as we promised earlier that we're going to call the officer from our railway and he's going to talk about the Indian Railway Health Services and his experiences in as a IRHS officer. So we called Dr. Rishi. He is ADMO in Ambala Divisional Hospital in Northern Railways. So he's going to tell you briefly about the Indian Railway Health Services. Hope you're going to enjoy this video, and let's see him what he's going to talk to you about this.
Hello friends, I am Dr. Rishi Sethi, ADMO, Northern Railway Divisional Hospital, Ambala, and I joined Indian Railways on January 2017. I was doing my ophthalmology residency in Venua Institute, Delhi. So I was given extraordinary leave till the rest of the period I had, and resumed my duty from October 2019. Indian Railways caters to the people who are working in the railways as employees and the pensioners. So the total people coverage is around 1 crore. 13 lakh employees, around 7 lakh pensioners and their dependents. So currently it's a huge task. They have around 135 hospitals. There are 67 divisions. Each division has further health units. The range goes from 500 to 700 health units. The structure from the health unit to subdivision hospitals to divisional hospitals and central zonal hospitals, there is a range of services. So if you are posted at a health unit, the services like first aid to general treatment comes under you. There are things like sick and fit list where employees come to you for sickness and you give them certificates for the same, and there are other administrative duties. Usually a fresh graduate is posted at a health unit, which are around 700 in our country, and each health unit is around at 150 kilometers from each other. Then comes the subdivisional hospitals, which are not in the cities where the division is, and they also cater to a huge population. They have a lot many doctors also. They may be running indoor patient department. Then comes the divisional hospital. Divisional hospital is the main hospital in the whole division. Like in Northern Railways, we have 5 divisions: Firozpur, Ambala, Delhi, Lucknow and Moradabad. Each has one divisional hospital, which has a secondary to tertiary kind of care structure. All the specialists are available, and mostly the medical examination of the employees and the candidates takes place. So it is kind of a referral center for the whole division, and specialists do get posting over there, or a graduate who was at a health unit of 4 to 5 years can be posted at divisional hospital. Then comes the central hospital, like Central Hospital in New Delhi, which is located at Connaught Place. Bombay has 2 central hospitals, one for the center and Central Railway, one for the Western Railways. These hospitals are working like medical colleges, and they have a huge list of doctors, and they do have DNB trainings. So a kind of tertiary level care is given to the patients, and usually they don't have their incoming patients. They are usually they cater to the patients which are referred from the divisions to them. According to the figures, around 2 crore OPD is seen in a whole year, and a lot many candidates are examined. A lot many PME examinations, that is periodical medical examinations of the various employees, take place. There is also decategorization of the employees who have somehow lost their health or do experience a kind of accident and they are not capable of continuing their services in a particular cadre, so they are decategorized to a different lighter job. So all things you have to do. The promotion level comes under dynamic assured career progression, wherein you are posted as ADMO for 4 years, assistant divisional medical officer, then you are upgraded to divisional medical officer, then after 5 years you are a senior DMO, and after around 4 to 5 years you become senior administrative group. You come under selection grade, and after that 4 to 5 years you become additional chief medical superintendent. This progression is assured and it is time bound and it is given to everybody. Beyond ACMS, for the post of chief medical superintendent and beyond, like executive directors, like director general, these are pinpointed posts and they are vacancy based. So your length of job, your previous track record, all these things decide whether you will be given a CMS post or not. The beginning 4-5 years are at the junior scale, that is level 10, and when you get promoted, then the level of pay also increases from 10, 11, 12, 13 and goes up to 16. The topmost job is Director General, Railway Health Services. ADMO and DMO are under junior and senior scale. Beyond that, junior administrative group starts, that is the JAG. So the career progression is quite timely and taken care of by your department, and there is annual appraisal also, wherein you are given grading by your chief medical superintendent, and if you perform good, then you may be promoted to another health unit or a better hospital or a divisional hospital. Recently, Indian Railways has come up with the option of DNB in its own centers, and 50% of the seats have been reserved for Indian Railway Health Services officers. So this is a very good option. People who want to pursue post-graduation after joining the Indian Railways can appear for NEET, and if they qualify and they come under the merit list of Indian Railway Health Services, then they can easily get a DNB of their choice from the various DNB centers available in the country, which are run by the Indian Railways, like New Delhi, Bombay, Secunderabad, Chennai, and various other centers. So it's a good thing, because out of 2,200-2,300 people, you are competing for a good number of seats which are clinical. Earlier in 2014, there was a provision called extraordinary leave, where if we were undergoing a postgraduate program, then we were given the option to pursue our PG, and the date of joining will be considered on the day we reported at NAIR, that is National Academy of Indian Railways, and after completing our PG, we will be posted in a zone and in a particular hospital. So that period, that extraordinary leave period, was counted as your qualifying service, and the increments and all were considered. So if a person has taken 3 years of leave and he joins after that and comes with the degree, so ADMO of 3 years will be counted, and after 1 year he will be promoted to DMO. This was a very good option, but it was taken back, and from 2018 this option is no longer available for the UPSC pass-outs. But still, for DNB IRHS officers, this provision has been there, and currently one of my colleague, he took DNB Ortho from Bombay, and he has been given 3 years extraordinary leave for pursuing the same. In extraordinary leave, you are not given any kind of pay, you are not given any kind of passes, you are not giving any kind of facilities which a regular ADMO gets. So it's a kind of a privilege that they are giving you, the extension, but at the same time they're counting this as a qualifying service. While the other option is study leave, which can be taken after 2 years of normal regular service, wherein you are given the basic pay and other allowances, and you can continue the study program elsewhere. So that is also a good option. The pros are that you get your salaries on time, the workload is balanced, you can have your ample time for family, you can have your ample time for pursuing your hobbies, and you can even take a good number of leaves and spend your time on vacations with your family or any other work. Then there are a lot of rest houses available in the country which are under Indian Railways. You can book them at a very nominal cost. Then there are perks like the health benefits, the health coverage, all are covered under the job profile. So the expenditure on these things are minimum compared to other private jobs and other departments. The cons are that still Indian Railways is lacking a specialist cadre. So the difference between the salary of a graduate and a postgraduate is very minimum. The progression of career is also not as fast as other departments have, like Indian Railway Traffic Services, where every 3 years you are promoted. Also, the con says that when you are posted in a health unit for 10 to 12 years, you hardly come across with a lot of administrative duties, and suddenly you are promoted to a divisional hospital where a lot of things have given to you, a lot of tasks are given to you. So I think administrative qualities you have to accrue, you have to gather strength. There will be times when you will be alone in a health unit and you have to take care of a critical patient. You have to decide on the spot whether to refer him, whether to manage him under yourself. So these are the things which you learn, and these are good things to learn. There is no problem with it. But yes, for the fresher it becomes a little difficult. For a postgraduate guy, actually you are being underpaid, because you should be divisional medical officer on the time of appointment, but you are ADMO. So you have to go through 3-4 years of service until unless you are promoted to a senior scale. But at the same time, in the current scenario, I think when the private sector is also giving equivalent salaries and perks, so comparing the work-based, work-balance life, I think it is a good option. Another con is that being a medical department of an industrial organization, you don't have much say in the working of the Indian Railways, where other departments, engineering, traffic, commercial, these have more say on the things. But of late, things have really changed up. Medical department has been given importance, and we can buy machines, we can buy equipments for the better care of the patients, and we can also start a specialty where 10 years, 15 years back it was not possible. Like in case of a phaco machine 10 to 12 years back it was not possible, but right now you can acquire a phaco machine. There is a tedious process to undergo, but still it is possible. In my career, when I joined, my CMS gave me free hand. I was given free hand for operating. I did phaco emulsification cataract surgeries and SICS surgeries in my divisional hospital, where I catered to around 7 health units and other subdivisional hospitals. Patients were referred to me, and I did a good number of surgeries. Also, there are chances for further improving my skill set. So in the future, if I want to do a vitreoretina fellowship or a cornea fellowship, then I have options for taking a study leave, or maybe getting an extraordinary leave to further pursue my career aims. There are also 2 conferences you can attend, which the money is paid by the Indian Railways, and you are given special casual leave for the day. Now coming to the daily job work, see your division hospital or health unit has a time slot for discharging your OPD duties. Then there are other administrative duties which you have to do. Then there are, if you are on a casualty on call, then you have to look after the casualty patients, the emergency patients. They depend on the number of doctors available in a divisional hospital. They may range from 5 to 6 night duties to even 1 or 2 night duties in a month. If you have CMPs, that is contractual medical practitioners, they may be doing a chunk of your duties. While there are a lot of station calls you have to attend, if a lot of train pass from your division, then you will have to attend around 4 to 5 station calls in a day. If you are in a division or in a health unit where not lot many trains pass, then you may have 1 or a nil station call in a day. In health unit, you are bound to be there, so getting a leave becomes a bit difficult. While in a divisional hospital, there are many doctors, so you can get leaves easily until unless you are given a specific job to perform. There are all central government gazetted holidays available, but being a gazetted officer, you are 24 hours on duty. You cannot leave your hometown, you cannot leave your headquarters without permission, and with permission you can leave the station. So guys, this was a brief introduction about Indian Railway Health Services. I have been here for 2 years in Ambala, and the total length of my service is going to be 4 years, and I must say it has been a good time. I am enrolled in the club services, the Officers Club of Indian Railways, where we have a compound, badminton is available, swimming pool is available, gym is available, and there are monthly parties which are thrown by the department club secretary. Then there are annual functional days and cultural events where you can perform or you can pursue your hobby. So overall, a good officer life you can enjoy. Then there is a brief period of training of foundation course, the field training course at Northern, that NAIR, National Academy of Indian Railways, where you are treated like an officer. So overall, I would say that it's a good option for beginners, for people who want to start from scratch, until unless they have a very ambitious goal of catering to only super specialty and subspecialty care. I would suggest for a beginner it's a good option to join. Have some time, relax, and then decide what do you want in life. Thank you.